Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I'm going to assemble the new Snowman Pets die cutting set. Hey, so I'm using the brand new Snowman Pets dies, along with the brand new Snowman Pets stamp faces, and Doodlebug's Snow Much Fun 6-inch pad. So I went ahead and I cut out the heads, the plain heads for all three pets, using paper tray ink white cardstock because I'm going to use the stamps for these guys. So I'm stamping on the three faces with Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. You saw that I ink blended or chalk blended some chalk on their cheeks before I did that. I'm pulling out a Copic marker in R24 to color in the tongues. And then I have a Copic marker in RV63 that I'm just going to sort of tap the bunny's nose and the cat's nose with. And there we go. There are the three faces. So these are like you're building a pet snowman, right? So the first one here is going to be a bunny. And so I cut everything out of paper tray ink white cardstock for these ones just because I stamped the faces, right? So there's the bunny, super easy. There are earpieces, but you don't have to add those if you don't want. So I'm leaving them off this one. So you can see how it looks by not adding those. Next, I'm going to do my cat. So, you cut your base snowman, cut your cat head. You're gonna layer on your cat face. You'll see that it kind of, it gives that separation between the head and the ears that you like without adding the ears on if you don't want to. There's still stitching there. Right? So there's your cat, there's your bunny, and this is a little dog. And I am going to layer that on again on the little body. There, and then the little head. We will add that on as well. Aren't they cute? Now there's little accessories that you could dress these guys up with. And I'm just going to weight that down. So I am going to assemble the little earmuffs. There we go. So that's American Crafts, kind of like an aqua cardstock. And then I also used Doodlebug's Snow Much Fun. And then the hat is American Crafts black cardstock. And then the band will be, like I said, Snow Much Fun. So the neat thing about these animal dies, there are separate pieces for the ears for all of the animals. Some of them have little muzzles. There's also tails, so you could add the tail from either coming out from the right of the little animal or the left that I will show in a moment here. So I am just assembling this is my little toque, right? My little winter hat. There we go. And lastly, this little kerchief, right? Neckerchief or whatever you want to call it, bandana. And I am adding on all the pieces here. Everything fits perfectly together. There we go. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then this is another little scarf. So so we're just putting together all the accessories. I will make all of these little animals using the little die cut faces in a moment as well. So you can see how different they look. So this is, you can decide which side you want your little tail to be on, right? So you add just a little bit of glue on the edge. I'm gonna have mine coming off to the left for this bunny. There. And then you've got a cute little scarf that you can add. Isn't that sweet? I just think it's adorable. There we go. And then this one I added 3 buttons, but I would probably add 2, right? 3 were a little bit too tight. I'd probably do 2, and so the rest of them I just do 2. But you see what it looks like with 3. You can, make up your own mind. But there he is. And then he's got little arms if you want, right? Now this little dog is going to have this neckerchief there. Add that on. And then he'll have 2 buttons. And perfect. Now his tail can either, and I'm actually grabbing the wrong tail at first. That's a cat tail. And then I realize it. Oh, that's the wrong tail. Just a moment, I'll realize it in a second. There's the dog's tail. So I'm gonna have that coming off to the left again, right? Depending on the type of dog, that other tail would have worked, but Now this is the cat's tail. We're going to have it coming off to the left as well. And we're going to give this one a little scarf. And that's just a solid American Crafts purple scarf. Give it a couple of buttons. So you can save yourself some die cutting by not cutting out the ears and adding those if you don't want to. And then that I'm going to add a fun little top hat to the dog at a jaunty angle. And we're going to give the cat a little toque. And then we will give the bunny some earmuffs. Oops. Which is kind of silly because the ears go straight up, but you know, you get the gist. So I'm just going to add in the little earmuffs, but how cute is that, right? Aren't they adorable? So you can decorate them up. So this is an A2 size card base, and that's the sizing. And then remember, there are little arms you could add to them, right, if you wanted to. Now next, these are if you're just going to use the die cut faces. So you're going to leave the die cut face, you're going to leave that plain face alone. And now you're going to layer it up just the same way. Now I used American Crafts white cardstock for these guys. I'm going to add in the ears separately, but you know, you could have saved yourself the effort of that. You don't really have to add those in if you don't want to. It does make your item thicker though, which is always nice, right? Next, I am going to add on the little muzzle. I do pop it up with a dimensional. Then I'm going to add on his little tail coming to the right for this dog. There we are. And then his little nose is American Crafts black cardstock. The same with his eyes. I'm going to use the die cut eyes for these guys. But I guess I'm going to dress him up first. Whoops. We're going to give this dog a scarf. So we're just giving them different accessories this time. Might as well make things a little bit different. There. And then we'll give him 2 buttons, because I find 2 buttons is probably the right amount. There we are. And then this has a purple American Crafts hat. And like kind of has like an aqua little pom-pom also from American Crafts. Now the little eyes have highlights. And the neat thing is that if you're making a snowman, you know, the background is white, so you don't have to add the highlights, right? There we go. But you could certainly make a little dog out of brown cardstock if you wanted to, right? And just have him sitting there. That would be cute too. He would look like a little puppy sitting in something. Very cute. Okay, so next we have the little cat snowman. And you'll see that I'm doing the exact same thing, layering it all up. I will be adding on the ears for this guy as well. You can see that it sort of has all of the stitching line details in the face. Sort of shows you where everything goes. So I'm going to add in the ears. Just making sure everything's lined up. Going to add some chalk on the cheeks. And a little pink nose, American Crafts, pink cardstock. The nice thing about die cutting is you can use all your scraps. That's what I do. I have a scrap bin beside me that I just go to town on. Next, I'm going to give this little cat earmuffs. There we are. And isn't this cute? Oh, it's so cute. There, we're going to give it a tail going off to the right for this one. And we're going to give this a cute little patterned scarf as well. And isn't that sweet? And we'll give this one 2 buttons as well. So, you know, just a different way to make these look. I love the stamped faces, but the die cut faces are fun too. Now, if you wanted to, you could use enamel dots for the eyes, and I will on the bunny. But, you know, these are using the die cuts. So I'm just going to get these in place. And there are the little die cut eyes. And isn't that cute? Look how cute that is. There we go. And oops, and there's the little arms if you wanted. Now this guy, I'm going to use the top hat. I probably, looking back on this, I probably could have cut the ears out again and put the ears in front of the hat a little bit, right? Because it kind of hides his ears, but you know, I think that you can still tell he's a bunny. So I'm just adding on his little layers, and then we're going to add on the ears. I probably could have added the ears onto the front of the bunny hat just to, you know, look like it's sticking through the hat. I still might do that if I use it in one of my, one of my projects. So I'm just going to add on his tail coming to the right. I tried to use the opposite side just so you could see how it looks both ways. I guess you could choose, depending on how he's oriented on your card, you can decide which way you want it. Adding on his little kerchief. There we go. And 2 buttons. There we go. And I realized I was out of buttons, so I'm just going to use a little black eye die cut there. It actually backs the eye if you wanted to use it for a highlight. I'm trying to decide how the hat goes, and you can see the ears kind of are covered a bit by it. I'm okay with it, but like I said, I might add the ears to the front depending on how it looks. I do use a little pop dot from scrapbook.com there to pop up the muzzle, and then I'm going to add a tiny little nose cut from American Crafts pink cardstock. You can see where it goes, adding some pink cheeks, because why not, right? And then I'm going to use enamel dots. These are from Doodlebug's ICU set, but any black dots would do. And I think this looks really cute too if you wanted to save yourself some time, right? Isn't that fun? And so there's the little bunny with enamel eyes. And remember, he can have the little stick arms as well if you want. So here are the 3 die cut ones. And then we've got the 3 stamped face ones on an A2 size card base. And remember, there are arms you could use. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, and the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these adorable snow pets. Bye, everybody.